ability. But what I don't understand is why the brain would invest in seamlessly convincing parallel worlds filled with intelligent entities that seek to teach us. I don't see why that would evolve in human beings all around the world. It seems to me that there's something else going on here. So the question is, what are these parallel realms that we encounter, and what are the entities that inhabit them, and how can we inquire into this further? I know at the moment there's some very exciting work being done at Imperial College with dimethyltryptamine, and it's called DMTX. The volunteers are subjecting themselves to extended DMT journeys. Normally, DMT smoked is a 10 to 12 minute rocket trip to the other side of reality. But these volunteers are effectively getting DMT on a drip and are being kept in that deeply altered state for hours, or certainly an hour or more, which I have to say I would find a formidable and terrifying experience, and kudos to them for their courage. But perhaps this is some way to engage in a deep investigation of whatever it is these parallel realms and entities are. As a scientist, Rupert, do you think there is a scientific way to approach this and to establish actually what we're dealing with in visionary realms?
Well, I think there are ways to begin an inquiry. Anyway, actually, I didn't know about the DMT experiments at Imperial College. It's interesting that that's another case of life imitating art. In Bernardo Kastrup's book, Beyond Allegory, I think it's called, he has a kind of science fiction-y second half to the book, in which heroic explorers undergo experiments with DMT infused into their bloodstream to extend the DMT experience, to explore consciousness more than can be done on these very short-lived DMT trips. So it sounds as if that project is actually bringing into reality something that was part of a kind of science fiction only a few years ago. I think myself that the starting point for thinking about these phenomena is dreams, because dreams are altered states of consciousness, which all of us have every night, even though we forget most of them. And dreams begin, according to rapid eye movement detection, even before we're born in babies. Many animals have dreams, at least they have rapid eye movement. And when you watch a dog sleeping and it looks as if it's trying to run in its dream, chase a rabbit or something, obviously dogs will have dog dreams and cats will have cat dreams. And we have human dreams. And in our human dreams, there are other entities. I mean, in most of my dreams, I encounter other people, and they're not the real actual people. Some of them are now dead, like my parents. And I encounter people in my dreams and beings and animals that aren't really there. And so in the sense of normal everyday world, the normal everyday world. So actually, I think that the starting point for all these inquiries, for me at least, is dreams. Then there's the question of, can we have shared dreams? Well, many people who've lived together in close quarters or who've taken part in dream groups where they share their dreams on a regular basis and become quite bonded with each other, find that they can have shared dreams. They can meet each other in their dreams, and things can happen to them in the dream which they later remember when they wake up, and their experiences were indeed overlapping. So there's a kind of shared reality within dreams. And then, as a next step,
I just pause you there just for one question. Why does the materialist reductionist faction in science not embrace that as just another faculty of the mind?
But they do. They admit the reality of dreams. Of course, they find it impossible to deny them.
Shared dreams. That.
Oh well, shared dreams. They just don't look at the evidence, because shared dreams would imply something telepathic, and for materialists, telepathy is one of the really big taboos.
Let's let's pause there. Explain why it's a big taboo. Why is telepathy such a big taboo for mainstream materialist science?
Well, because of their belief system. Their belief system is that the materialist belief system is that matter's the only reality, that matter's unconscious. The whole universe is made up of unconscious matter. Our brains are made up of unconscious matter, except, embarrassingly for materialism, we appear to be conscious. That's why the very existence of human consciousness is called the hard problem for materialists. The mind is supposed to be nothing but the activity of the brain. As materialists say, minds are what brains do. Therefore, the mind, according to materialism, is either an aspect of physical brain activity, or it's an epiphenomenon of physical brain activity that does nothing, or it's an illusion produced by brain activity. And the illusion doesn't do anything either. In any case, although these are different schools of materialist philosophy of mind, they all agree that the mind is confined to the inside of the head. The mind is nothing but the activity of the brain. Now, and the brains have electrical and chemical activity, but the electrical effects don't stretch far. You can detect them just by putting electrodes on the skull, but they don't reach out very far. Therefore, for the materialist, the existence of phenomena like the sense of being stared at or telepathy they're impossible, because they couldn't possibly happen. The minds couldn't possibly have an influence on other minds at a distance in some mysterious way, because they're all confined to the inside of the head. Therefore, it's absolutely essential for materialists to deny these phenomena, which is why they have organizations like the Committee for Skeptical Inquiry, magazines like the Skeptical Inquirer, and why the materialist hitmen patrol Wikipedia to make sure that biographies of people like you and me are suitably edited, portray us as flakes or pseudo-scientists or whatever. It's all to maintain this belief that the mind is nothing but the brain. Therefore, to admit that telepathy could happen in dreams would be a violation of this belief system, and therefore it's taboo. So anyway, the fact is that telepathy does happen despite materialists' belief system, and telepathic contact in dreams happens. And in fact, telepathy quite often happens through dreams. It's many telepathic communications occur in dreams, particularly from people who are dying or have had accidents. Many people have dreams about somebody, or when awake, feel the presence of somebody or get some impression of somebody at the moment that person dies, even though they don't know they're dying, and even if they're dying a long way away. This was one of the kinds of episode that so intrigued the founders of the Society for Psychical Research in the 1880s. So anyway, back to the dreams. One of the things that interested me when I was trying to think about these problems was, well, what about entities that are collectively recognized yet can't possibly exist in reality, and yet have a real realm in real existence in the realm of dreams or the imagination or altered states of consciousness? So what I thought of as a test case was the Indian god Ganesh. Ganesh appears in temples, in countless statues in India, as paintings of Ganesh appear on calendars. You see them all the time. I lived in India for 7 years and I was very aware of Ganesh all the time. Ganesh is an elephant-headed god who couldn't possibly have existed in any normal physical sense. He's considered to be the remover of obstacles and to be a son of Shiva and a channel of the energy of the god Shiva. Well, does Ganesh appear to Hindus in their dreams? Well, I did a Google search on Ganesh in dreams, and I found in India numerous dream groups where people online are discussing their Ganesh dreams. Yes, lots of Indians have dreams of Ganesh, and they share their experiences with others in online forums. So now, when Ganesh appears in dreams in India, he seems real to the people who are dreaming him. He's a god, and he appears and he can intervene in what's going on. Yet, is he real? What if he's just a product of the imagination? Then if lots of people have a shared imagination and shared experiences of Ganesh, then isn't there some kind of reality? So that's the approach I've been taking towards these questions. What do you think of that as a general line of inquiry?
It sounds very, very worthwhile to me. I'd like to come back to this issue of the mainstream materialist science and consciousness. It seems that you speak of it as a belief system. Those scientists would say it's not a belief system, it's a fact. And of course, you and I both know that it's not a fact. It's not an established fact. It's not established or confirmed by any form of experimentation. We really just don't understand what is going on here. But it looks to me like that particular faction of science wants to exert control over human consciousness. And to limit the scope of what we may explore and discuss about consciousness. And as you rightly say, that faction is extremely active and has its expeditionaries out there on the internet doing their best to slur and scorn the names of anyone who considers anything other than the materialist view of consciousness. And then secondly, I find that we live in a society where actually the state claims to own our consciousness. Of course, it doesn't make that claim overtly or directly, but the very fact that a person may be arrested for possessing or using drugs that alter consciousness is a sign that the state does claim to own our consciousness and to define for us how and in which ways we may use our consciousness. Somebody having a psychedelic experience is, in my view, a free and sovereign adult should have complete free and sovereign choice to do whatever they wish with their own consciousness and minds and bodies, so long as they do no harm to others. And I think it's a sure giveaway that the state seeks to control and limit consciousness, that we have this phenomenon called the war on drugs. That's a direct intervention. If an adult is not free to explore and experience their own consciousness while doing no harm to others, then there's no meaning to the word freedom at all. And we live, I think, in a very sinister environment where attempts are being made to absolutely shut down and limit and control what we may think about. And all kinds of clever techniques are used to do that. And I just wonder why. Is it just that a group of influential people want their view to prevail, or is there some sort of demonic project to shut down and delimit human consciousness? We have this majestic vehicle, which is whatever the brain is. It's a majestic and extraordinary thing, and what a pity that it should be so limited by the society we live in. I think there's a useful model concerning the brain and consciousness, and I've mentioned this several times before, and it's the analogy of the TV set and the TV signal. When I look at pictures and images on my TV set, I would be quite wrong to conclude that the TV set is making those images. And that's why I think I would be wrong to conclude that my brain is making the images of entities in the DMT realm. Those images are being beamed into the TV set on a signal, and you can destroy the TV set, but the signal still continues. And coming to your issue of morphic resonance and telepathy, and the issue of memories, you mentioned earlier that they're not stored in the brain. Where then are they stored?
Well, there's several points here, Graham.